All right, hey y'all, how's everybody doing tonight? It's been a long day for me. I got up at like 8ish for work this morning. It's currently Friday night, it's about 11 p.m. I am pretty lazy, so usually I take naps after work, but today I did not take a nap, which is a pretty big achievement for me. And I ran a bunch of errands after work. I went to some stores and picked up some things. I also bought some beer, which I'm currently not drinking the new beer that I bought, but I am drinking this new Abita cake stout, which I am actually not a huge fan of Abita because they're kind of like a sellout brewery. That sounds really stupid to say. But they're one of the few breweries in Louisiana that's nationally distributed, so a lot of their beers are kind of like, for better or worse, watered down, and I like a little more extreme beer. But this one, I love a stout, I love dark, thick beer. This one actually has 8% ABV, which is why I bought it, and I love a stout. I feel like a lot of sort of mainstream, if you will, stouts are pretty light in ABV, but this one is deep. And I'm just ready to relax and do some makeup and drink a little bit of beer and unwind on a Friday night after going nonstop from this morning up until now. So let's jump in. Alright, so this video I'm planning is going to be mostly a full face of e.l.f. cosmetics, which is eyes, lips, face. I discovered e.l.f. whenever I used to work at Target. I started at Target in like 2000... Oh god, when was it? I think I started at Target in 2004, and I worked for Target up until about 2000, I think it was like 13 or something. No, I think it was like 15. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why I'm saying this. It's completely irrelevant. I'm a big fan of e.l.f. Cosmetics, though, because they've been stepping up their game really incredibly for the past like 5 or so years. I remember back in the day when everything used to be like $1 or $3, and they had like the most basic ass looking makeup that you could find at Target, and then they just kept building their empire, and they're getting bigger, they keep releasing more stuff. And the interesting thing is that every once in a while they have these big sales, and I'm on their email list. I'm part of their like beauty squad, as it is, which is basically just like a rewards program type thing that you can sign up for free on their website. And every once in a while they have these sales, and of course they had one last week. I don't know if it's still going on right now, but it's like an up to 60% off sale, and it's mostly just discontinued stuff that is pretty old, but every single time they have one of these sales, I end up picking some stuff up because it's always really, really cheap stuff. For this sale, the shipping minimum was only $15, and I hate paying for shipping whenever I buy stuff online. So the shipping minimum was $15. I think I ended up spending about $20 or so to get everything that I got. And a lot of this stuff is old. I don't know if it's even like readily available, but I'm going to show you all the new stuff I bought. I haven't even taken out of the boxes or swatched any of it yet. And then I'm going to do about as full of face as I can. But I want to show you the new brushes that I bought. So they come in this little set, and they were in the little Ziploc baggie, and I will kind of walk you through them one by one, if I can get the stray hairs off of them. This is the Eyeshadow C brush. This brush I actually already have one of, which is part of the reason why I ended up buying the set, because I love this brush because it's pretty dense, and it packs stuff on pretty easily, but it can also blend because it's pretty flexible. It's not super flexible, but it's flexible enough, so I really, really like this brush, and I'm happy to have a second one. The next brush is the small precision brush. I think I will mostly use this for lips or for inner corner highlights. I don't think I would use this for eyeshadow or anything like that. It's very small, it's a little wiggly, but it's a good shape for a lip brush, so, you know, I'm excited to have it. I'm sure I will use it for lip colors down the line. The next brush is the flat eyeshadow brush, and I think this will be a really good one for just packing on color. I'm pretty sure that's the point of it. That's what I intend to use it for, so I think I'll get some use out of this. I don't have a lot of just flat packing brushes like this, so I'm sure I will use this one quite a bit. Next up is the eye contour brush. It's basically just like a fluffy blending brush, but the interesting thing about it is that it's actually kind of tapered. So it's kind of thin on one side, but then it's wide on the other. Most fluffy blending brushes are just kind of like dome shaped for me, or they don't really have a taper in them, but this one has a taper, so I think this will be pretty successful for blending. And last but not least, we have the Detail Crease brush. I don't really do crease work, but I think this one might come in handy. It's pretty flexible. It's actually very flexible. It's probably a good brush for laying down color in the crease and for blending it out, doing, you know, the windshield wiper thing. I don't really know how much use I'm going to get out of this one, but I'm sure I'll find some uses for it. Alright, I think this is the newest thing that I bought. I'm pretty sure these are still like alive and available pretty regularly. I got the Putty Eye Primer, and I actually got the black version. It's basically just like a pot cream shadow eye primer type thing. I haven't even opened it. And I don't know if they're discontinuing the black one because I think this was the only color that was on sale on their website. But I like this kind of thing. I don't think I'm going to use this today because I'm going to use the shadow stick instead. But I like the idea of doing like a black ass smoky eye with this. So we'll just have to see. Maybe I'll do it in a future video, but I am excited to use this. The next thing I got is this ultra precise brow pencil in the color Deep Brown. And I do think it's kind of hilarious. I have a handful of brow products, but this is actually the first brow product I've ever bought that has the spoolie on one end. I have my own just standalone spoolie brush that I use. This is also from e.l.f., surprise, surprise. But this is the first one I've ever bought, and I recently bought that NYX Lift and Snatch eye pen, and this is a pencil, and that one is more like eyeliner style, but the tip on this one is really, really small, so I think I'm going to try it in my brows today, and I'm excited to try this. Next up is the eyeliner and shadow stick. This is in the shade Black and Smoke, so the eyeliner side is just a black, I think, retractable eyeliner, and then there's kind of a gunmetal eyeshadow stick on the other side. This is a different format from their new shadow sticks. I don't even know when these launched or how long they've been around. I'm assuming they're old and they're trying to discontinue them, so I picked it up. It was like a couple dollars, and this is what I'm going to use for my eyes today. I also bought one of their matte lip colors. This is basically just like a matte lip crayon in the color Fuchsia. I have the color Cranberry in this already, but Fuchsia was on sale for like $1.50 or something, and I couldn't resist, so I picked it up. Alright, and then last but not least, I picked up their Serum SPF 25 foundation. I love how it says with goji berry on the bottom. This is their foundation serum SPF 25 sunscreen. I got the color light medium, and when I opened my box today when it came in, I was actually kind of terrified because this is like straight up orange in the tube. Or this is fair light. I'm sorry, did I say light medium? I think this is fair light, and hopefully it doesn't look this orange when it comes out. I have not even opened it or tried to pump it out, but this is what I'm going to try today. I'm hoping it'll be similar to something like MAC Face and Body. I read some reviews that said it was really lightweight, really light coverage, but it does have SPF 25 in it, which is nice, so we're just going to go on this journey together and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to do some experimental things in this video to see how these different products work. So I'm going to prime first, and I'm actually going to use 2 primers on each half of my face. I have the original e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer, e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. This is my favorite primer to use because it's really, really silky, and I really like it. And then I also have the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer because this is kind of a newer, all-the-rage product right now. I'm not crazy about this primer, but I figured I would just give it a shot and see how it acts with the foundation. So I'm going to prime one side with one and another side with the other. I believe for the Putty Primer on the instructions it says something about letting it sit for a minute, so I'm going to let that one sit while I prime the other side with the pump one. I also washed and moisturized my face already. I used CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. I trimmed my beard hair on my cheeks. And I used the e.l.f. Holy Hydration moisturizer. I figure we could just try to keep it in the family as much as possible and use similar products from one line. I also exfoliated my lips and put some of that e.l.f. I think I put that CBD... No, it's like the Happy Hydration Lip Balm or something like that. I put that on. It's been on my lips for maybe about half an hour. Alright, I'm going to shake this up and see what happens. Oh! There's like a thing in there. Okay, cool. I can get down with that. Alright, I'm going to start pumping this out. Hopefully this isn't... Sometimes, you know, a new product is weird when it first pumps out. Oh god. Okay, it's very liquidy. Ooh. Very liquidy. It's kind of running down my hands. The good thing is that it's not as orange as it is in the tube, so that's nice. I'm just going to rub this in my fingers and dot it around my face a little bit. I have no idea if the shade match is going to work, but I do believe it's a sheer foundation, so hopefully it'll be pretty good. It's very watery, feels like MAC Face and Body, which is good news for me. Alright, I have a dampened Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I did wash this earlier today, so I'm trying to give this the best, trying to make it work as best I can. And I'm just going to start blending this and see what happens. Alright, I just turned my ISO down because I feel like things were looking a little bit bright on my monitor. Hopefully they're not super dark now. I just put on one really light layer. There's basically like not very much coverage in this, which I'm actually not mad about, but I think I'm going to put on a second layer just to be safe. But this, I don't know if I need to move my lights back a little bit maybe. I feel like I'm on a hunt to still find the perfect filming setup in here. But this is what it looks like so far. Some nice kind of bit of glow on it, but it's not over the top. It's one really light layer. I'm going to put some more on. Alright, just turn my ISO back up. There's definitely not very much coverage in this, but I don't like full coverage foundations, so this is a nice, pleasant surprise to me. I like that it has SPF 25, although you should not count on your foundation for all your SPF, but it is a good idea to layer SPFs. So this is the perfect thing for if you have, say, like an SPF like 40 or 50 moisturizer or some kind of serum or something on, or just a straight up sunscreen, and then you want to lock that in with another sunscreen product, then this is a really good idea. You get a little bit extra sun protection with the SPF 25, but you're also just kind of reinforcing the sunscreen that you have below. And it's also important to note that if you have like an SPF 50 sunscreen and then you put an SPF 25 moisturizer or foundation or whatever over it, that does not level up the sunscreen. Your base sunscreen is the highest one you use. They don't like add together, if that makes sense. So it's not going to give you more sun protection. It'll just keep your face kind of more protected because you're reinforcing it and adding layers of it. So yeah, I'm not mad about this. I think maybe next time I'll try it with a brush. It is very liquidy, so I'm worried that my sponge is kind of eating up some of the product. But for somebody like me who likes really light coverage foundation, it's got a nice little bit of glow in it. Yeah, I'm not mad about this. This is pretty nice looking. Alright, and just because I can, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Light Peach, and I'm just going to add a little bit to my cheeks, my cheeks tend to get a little bit red, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit to kind of reinforce a little bit of coverage on my cheeks. With a freaking fat doe foot on this bad boy. I'm going to add a little on my nose, too. Alright, now I've got a little bit of extra coverage just kind of in the center panel of my face. I never conceal my under eyes because they're so wrinkly that I just can't be bothered, so I don't really do that. Alright, I just readjusted my lights a little bit and started a new clip. I'm going to go in with this tiny brow pencil next. I'm just going to take this spoolie and just kind of straighten out my brows a little bit, try to get any product out that might be trapped in them. I'm probably going to end up doing kind of a dramatic eyeshadow look because I'm going to do like a gray-black smoky eye. So the fact that I'm doing brows at all is kind of silly, but I do want to try this pencil. So let's see what it looks like. It does have a very skinny point, so I'm hoping I can draw in some kind of hair-like strokes. So let's try it. Alright, I'm really bad at brows, but I'm just going to start kind of doing little strokes to fill in. So how is everybody doing? I have been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I bought it on PlayStation 4 when it came out in November, and it launched to kind of a disaster because it was really buggy, and it got taken off the PlayStation Store, but I bought mine at Target. And it's been on sale on PC, and I'm not really a PC gaming elitist, but I wanted to kind of test. I have a very mid-range PC, so I've been wanting to test the limits on my PC, and I bought it, and even though I've already beaten it and spent dozens of hours with it on PlayStation 4, I just jumped right back into it on PC. Even though I already know every in and out of that game, for the past couple days, when I clock out of work, the only thing I want to do is play Cyberpunk, which is weird, because, like, I'm not really that much of, like, a PC gamer. I'm much more of a console gamer. And Cyberpunk is just okay. Like, it's not a great game. It's very buggy. It's kind of a mess. But, you know, it is what it is. It's just one of those games that I can kind of get lost in, you know? Like, I just boot it up and I go on hunts for armor, do a bunch of side missions. It's just something that I've been playing a lot, and I like it. Alright, I'm going to try to brush my brows, try to distribute some of that color. This went on pretty light. I don't really use eye pencils much, so I can't be like, this is how it compares to this. Because I really just use brow gels, or I use my NYX Lift and Snatch Brow like pen thing, which is like it's kind of like an eyeliner. I'm just going to reinforce a little bit. I hope that this is well lit. I feel like I'm still trying to figure out the lighting for these videos. Okay, I'm going to try my eyeshadow stick next, and I'm going to use a Milani eyeshadow primer because I don't have an e.l.f. eyeshadow primer, and I'm just going to prime one of my eyes and see if that affects anything. I actually don't really usually like to prime when I do an eyeshadow stick or some kind of eyeshadow crayon because it's a cream color, so it's kind of, I think of the stick almost as like the primer itself, like it's the cream you set down, so you can probably put a powder over it. But, you know, I just want to test this under different conditions. And also my eyes are pretty oily, and I find that primer helps keep that oiliness down. So we'll prime my right eye. We'll leave my left eye alone. All right, I'm going to go straight in with this stick. Let me just swatch it on my hand so you can see what it looks like. So this is the eyeshadow stick swatch next to the lip color. Very excited about this. I hope this works well and layers well in my eye, but let's find out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight in and basically draw it all over my eye, and then I'm going to take my eyeshadow C brush and blend it out. So let's see how this goes. Okay, it's not super creamy on my eyelid, probably because my eyes are 32 years old and they're kind of crepey. But it's also not bad. I'm going to try to draw kind of a very rough... I know I look like a toddler trying to color inside the lines right now. I'm going to draw a very rough sort of sketch of what I want the shape to be, and then I'm just going to blend the hell out of it and see what happens when I take a brush over it. I'm going to take my eyeshadow C brush, and I'm just going to go over it and just kind of reinforce it into the lid, and also try to blend the edges. Because sometimes with cream shadows, they kind of disappear when you blend them, but sometimes they stick around. And I mean, this is a dramatic color, so I would hope that it would stick around, and it looks like it is, so that's good news. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to reinforce the color. I'm also going to take it under my eye because I'm going to envelop the whole eye in this gray. But I'm not taking it in the waterline. I'm going to take the black liner in the waterline. It tugs a little bit on the eye, but it's not the worst eyeshadow stick I've ever used. The worst eyeshadow stick I've ever used is the Sephora brand one, which is funny because I bought that in a gunmetal color as well. But this one is outperforming the pants off of that one, and that one was full price, like 3 times as expensive as this one. I feel like every time I start filming, I have like ideas for stuff that I want to talk about, and then as soon as I turn the camera on, I have no idea what to talk about. I haven't really been doing much lately other than playing Cyberpunk. I've been playing that. I've been playing the Outer Worlds Murder on Eridanos DLC, I think is what it's called. I'm reviewing that right now. So I've been playing that, which was good. I don't want to talk about it too much because I haven't written my review yet, but Outer Worlds is really good. It's basically like the same developers that made Fallout New Vegas kind of make a space Fallout game. Not bad. I'm sure everybody came here wanting to hear about my video game hot takes, you know. So I apologize for that. Actually, no, I don't apologize for that. I can talk about whatever I want because it's my channel. I didn't mean for that to sound as aggressive as it did. I'm going to take a Q-tip and just clean this up a little bit down here. The other thing about cream eyeshadow is that it's a lot easier to clean up. Or at least I think it is, unless it sets really quickly, but this doesn't really appear to be like setting super fast. It's actually, I think this looks pretty good. That was super fast. I mean, it didn't take me very long to do that. The only thing I'm nervous about is that when I like open my eye, I can feel my eyelid kind of sticking to itself. So I have a feeling this is going to crease very quickly, even though it's probably like, oh, crease proof or whatever. But if you put a powder shadow over that, that can maybe help it to stop creasing. But this doesn't seem like it's like setting. It's just kind of staying a little bit tacky, which means it'll make for a perfect eyeshadow base, but that's not what we're doing here today. We're doing just the cream stick to see how it acts on its own. And right now it's a little bit tacky. All right, I'm gonna get the other eye caught up to speed with the shadow stick and I'll be right back. All right, so here we've got both eyes more or less done with the gray. I think my right eye is creasing a tiny bit. This eyeshadow stick is pretty emollient, which means it spreads well and it blends well, but it also doesn't dry down super well. I think if I were putting a powder shadow over this, it would work a lot better because that powder shadow would kind of seal in the creaminess of the pen of the eyeshadow stick. But we're just going to say we're going for this kind of rock and roll, you know, Batman meets Kate Moss lived-in eye, which of course is like one of my favorite things. So if it creases a little bit and looks a little bit gross, you know, whatever. We've been out partying all night. We've been out clubbing, out with the girls, and this is just what we look like, okay? We look cool. We don't have to look super put together. There's plenty of people out there that look super put together, so we can look cool, we can look dangerous, we can just have this gray business going on. We can do whatever we want because it's makeup. All right, I'm gonna try the black liner in my waterline. I'm a little nervous about this, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna take this little detail crease brush that's in here, and I'm just gonna try to smudge that a tiny bit. That actually went into the waterline pretty well, but I have a feeling it's not super waterproof. Oh my god, I just poked myself in the eye. Well, now that my eyes are watering, I guess we'll see if it's waterproof. Oh yeah, this is like, we've been out all night partying, punk rock, we're bad bitches. We go straight to the VIP section. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm actually gonna smudge this on my top lash line as well. Really close to the lashes. You don't have to be neat. And just actually, let me grab a smaller brush. I'm going to take my Real Techniques shading brush and I'm just going to kind of smudge that in. Deepen it up a little bit over here. Look very rock and roll. We've been out all night. We don't have time to touch up our makeup. We're not like other girls. Oh yeah, this is fucking cool, man. Okay, I'm into this. The liner lays down well over the shadow, probably because the shadow is so emollient that it helps it blend. It actually kind of blends out almost into nothing. It's staying on my waterline right now though, which is super cool. Try to get tight line a little bit. God, I hate tight lining. Oh god. Oh god, tight lining is like my least favorite thing to do. Oh god. Yeah, this is messy, but I love it. I'm being kind of rough with this pencil and it's not breaking yet, so that's kind of nice. Nervous, I'm just gonna snap the tip right off of it. Fuck. Oh yeah, this is like the kind of makeup that I love doing. I feel like a fucking bad bitch right now, and I've been out doing cool stuff all night, smoking a cigarette in the street, you know? Oh my god. Yeah, this is so fucking cool. Even though it's creasing a little bit, even though it's not perfect, oh my god, this is everything. And the fact that the base was so light coverage really helps the eye look good, because it's not, it's like, you know, where you want to get ready and you want to look like you look fucking effortless, but it took you like 2 hours of getting ready to look that effortless. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here a little bit. I mean, this isn't a difficult look, but, you know, there's a certain art of messiness, if you will, when that comes to makeup. And this is like exactly the kind of makeup that I love to do, where it's just like, fuck you, I look like a grungy bitch. Which is so funny because I'm such a tame person in real life. I think that's why I like makeup so much, because it's just really transformative. Oh my god, yeah, this is so cool. I feel like the coolest person on the planet right now. I feel like I could go downtown to the French Quarter right now and just walk into a bar, and I wouldn't even have to say anything, and the bartender would just pour me a shot of whiskey and slam it on the bar for me, and I would down it, and then I would buy the whole bar shots. Lol, if I had more money. So this eyeshadow looks fucking rad as hell. I love the way this looks. It's so rock and roll. It's like grungy, gray, gunmetal. It's creasing a little bit. It looks really rough, but god damn, it looks fucking cool. Alright, so we've got our rock and roll eye. The next thing we need to do is put a rock and roll lash on. When I do kind of a dark, grungy, cool eye look like this, I like to use the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Uncensored Mascara. I feel like literally nobody talks about this mascara, but I think it's really good for... The wand's a little hard to work with because it's kind of wet and it's kind of chunky. But if I want to just kind of go ham on my lashes with a good mascara, this is the one I use. I'm going to curl them and I'm going to put mascara on. I'll be right back. Alright, I've got mascara on. I turned my ISO down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But this is like a rock and roll eye. It's not clean. It's not pretty. It's not your average Instagram beauty guru's makeup look, but I think it looks fucking cool. Got lots of mascara on. I put 2 layers of mascara on. I've got my grungy eye. See, it's already creasing in here a little bit. It's already kind of lifting off the lid. So this is one of those products where it's weird because I wouldn't recommend this because it's not really holding up that well on both the unprimed eye and the primed eye. I think if I had set it with a powder, it might look better. But I'll be damned if I don't think this looks fucking cool. I love this so much. Alright, and last but not least, we're going to put a hot pink rock and roll lip on. Oh, this is going to be real silly, but I'm excited about it. Alright, I'm going to take this. It's just a crayon, and I'm just going to draw it on. I think I'm going to blur the edges of it too, make it look real messy and real cool. So let's just go for it. This pencil is very waxy, so it applies pretty creamily. I'm not trying to be too precise because I'm just going to blend it in and blur it out. Alright, and much like with the eyeshadow, now that I've got kind of a base lip on, I'm going to take a Q-tip and just start diffusing the edges of it. You could probably also achieve this with a lip liner if you weren't cheap like me. It's a very kind of blue-based fuchsia color. I feel like the undertones would make me look a little bit dead. I reinforce the color some. You know, they call this a matte lip crayon, but it's goes on very creamy. I feel like my cranberry one is pretty matte, but this one, it has a little bit more of a sheen, which I'm not mad at. How's my lip color face? Do I look ridiculous? Because I feel ridiculous. Blend it above the Cupid's bow. Trying to make this look real dirty and lived in. This is totally my rock and roll makeup aesthetic right here. Alright, so I think this is the finished look. I know it looks ridiculous. I know it's super lived in, super rock and roll, super silly, not super conventional, but I really, really like this look. So I'm going to go through the new products I tested one by one just to give you kind of some wrap-up thoughts. The first thing is the Serum Foundation Serum SPF 25 Sunscreen. I really, really like this. It reminds me a little bit of Face and Body. It's more matte than MAC Face and Body, but it has a really good finish on the skin. The concealer built well over it. I didn't powder it. I wanted it to be a little bit shiny. You know, we've been out clubbing all night. We're looking shiny. We're looking like, you know, rock stars. Can't be powdering too much. But yeah, I will definitely keep using this. The sunscreen in it, by the way, is Zinc Oxide Nano, 9.8%, just in case you want to know. Yeah, this is really good. I will keep using this. The Ultra Precise Brow Pen, I think I like the way it makes my brows look because they look filled in, but they don't look obvious, which is definitely something I like going for. I also really like that it has a spoolie on the end because, like I said, this is the only brow pencil I have that has a spoolie on the end, so it's nice to be able to just do both steps at the same time and kind of rake it through, get some color in, blend it out, and get it in. So yeah, I will probably keep using this as well. I think this is a good product. Alright, the double-ended shadow stick and liner. As you can see, there's this liner on one side, over here, the chunkier stick on the other. This is a hard one to recommend, and to be honest, I don't even really know if they're making this anymore. I have a feeling they're discontinuing it, and that's why it's on sale right now. So their new shadow sticks might be a better formula, but this is perfect for a glossy, metallic, rock and roll eye look. I am in love with this. I think it looks super cool. However, it's pretty emollient. It's creasing in my eye. The color's already lifting off of itself. It's so funny to me that I'm like, oh, here's the 10 things that are wrong with it and why I don't think it's a practical item. But I fucking love the way it looks. I think this is so cool. It's so rock and roll. I'm really into this. But I don't really think I can recommend this because it doesn't really set. I think if you buy it with the intention of laying it down to put a powder shadow over it, like if you have perhaps maybe like the Blow and Smoke palette from ColourPop, I think that would be a perfect companion to this. Then, you know, go for it. The eyeliner, I mean, it stayed in my waterline so far. So, you know, so far so good. I did kind of poke myself in the eye with the brush and it's still hanging around. So, not bad. I really like this. And the lip color, it's very rock and roll for me. You know, it's hot pink. It says it's a matte lip crayon. It's kind of drying down matte a little bit, but it's still pretty creamy. I can feel like the color, yeah, if I touch my finger, the color will come off of it. So it won't, if you're drinking something or whatever, the color's not going to stick around your lips very long. You could probably blot it to stain it a little bit, and that might help the longevity. I do like the fact that it's kind of creamy, though, because it allowed me to kind of blur the edges and make it look a little bit messy and a little more rock and roll. Take a shot every time I say rock and roll in this video. Actually, don't. Please don't do that. But yeah, this is a good lip color. I think this one feels more emollient than the cranberry one I have, so maybe the color depends on kind of how matte or how creamy it is. But this, you know, went on pretty well. If you put a lip liner under it to reinforce it, it would probably work a little bit better. But I just dig the way this looks, so, you know, I can't really complain. For the brush set, I only use two of the brushes. I use the Eyeshadow C brush and the Detail Crease brush. I mean, I know I like e.l.f. brushes. I'm going to use these, so, I mean, they're a hard recommend for me, so I will end up using them for a lot of things. I think e.l.f. eyeshadow brushes are really good. They're really cheap. Sorry, I just cannot stop looking at myself. Let me look at the camera and not at myself. But I think e.l.f. eyeshadow brushes are really good, so yeah, I'm totally going to use these. Well, that's it. That's the whole look. Thank you for just kind of sticking around with me tonight. I know for me it's late right now. It's like 5 till midnight right now, and maybe we'll edit this video tonight. Maybe I'll play Cyberpunk for the rest of the night, but I do need to go take some pictures of this look, so I'm really excited to do that. But thank you as always for watching. If you have any feedback about how ridiculous this looks, or if you think it looks cool too, please let me know. If there's anything you want to see in the future, also let me know. I'm always, you know, up for ideas for other kinds of looks and stuff like that. So, you know, always up for ideas. Let me know how you're doing. I hope that you're doing well, whether you're watching this in the morning or the evening or the afternoon or at midnight, like when I'm making it. I hope you're having a good time, whatever you're doing. Please take care of yourself, and I think that's going to be it for this video. I need to go take some pictures of this before it starts creasing even harder and dragging off my lid. Even though that said, I freaking love this look. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you like this look. Maybe it gave you some inspiration. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you hate it. That's also fine. If you hated it and want to say so, I am all ears. But that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.